Hey, I've been carrying this inside for a long time now. And I don't know if saying it changes anything, but I need to let it out. I was racist for a very long time. And not just quiet in my thoughts kind of racist. I mean the loud, out in the open, in your face, I dare you to call me out kind of racist. I did time for assault and robbery when I was much younger, but prison only made me worse. You see, in there, you're forced to pick a side or you get eaten alive. That whole predator or prey mentality. So I chose to run with the Peckerwood's white pride crew. And at first, it was all about survival. But after a while, I started buying into and believing all of it. And we became tight. We ate together, we fought together, and we spread hate like it was our job. So when I finally did get out, I didn't leave any of that behind. I brought it all home with me and then some. I wore it on my sleeve like a badge of pride or honor. My tattoos and my flags and the way I talked and dressed. I wanted to make sure the whole world knew exactly who and what I was. Truth is, I didn't even know who I was. But I made damn sure that everyone knew where I stood, whether it was at a bar, on the job, or even in my own house. I lost lots of good jobs, pushed away family, and pretty much made it impossible for anyone to ever get close to me. I told myself it was all about standing up for something. But in reality, I was just scared of being nobody. So in 2015, I managed to land a job on a construction crew with a black foreman named Ray. And he knew exactly what I was all about. At that point, I thought I was too far gone to be worth saving to anybody. But Ray didn't see it that way. And I didn't try to hide it either. I was loud about my politics. I was more than happy to let everyone know that I'd voted for Trump, to told everyone on site how I felt about the country, about race, about everything. You finally got a Peckerwood that would tell it like it is, I'd say. But Ray, he never once treated me any differently. He kept me honest, he paid me fair, and he expected me to work hard just like everybody else. He never once threw any of my crap back in my face. Year after year, job after job, we worked together. And while I was busy holding on to my beliefs, I watched the country start to rip itself apart from the inside. Charlottesville and George Floyd and January 6th. And I saw the hate getting louder and uglier and the division in the country growing. And I thought that by keeping my mouth shut, it made me neutral in the situation. Turns out, it only made me a part of the problem. And I started to wonder if I was helping or just making it worse. So one day after a long shift, I finally asked Ray, why he never just up and fired me? He looked at me and he said, because someone didn't give up on me, even when I was at my worst. And that hit me hard, harder than I'd been hit in any fight I'd ever been in. And I wish I could say I changed overnight, but I didn't. It took years, years of fighting old habits and walking away from old friends, and covering up old tattoos, and learning to keep my mouth shut and just listen. But over time, I saw how much work it took to keep all that hate burning and how empty it left me at the end of the day. I'm 48 now, and I've got more years behind me than ahead. I still wake up some mornings ashamed of who I was, but I'm not that man anymore. And I don't need a medal, and I'm not asking for anyone's forgiveness. I just want to say to anyone who thinks that they're too far gone, well, you're not. And it's going to be hard as hell, but you can change. You just have to want it more than you want to stay the same. And I don't know if this letter changes anything, but it changed me. That's my truth. Take it or leave it. From a man who finally figured out what side he wants to stand on. Wow, hey, thank you for your letter. I'm not going to say your name because you asked me not to mention you on the air, but wow, that's the very first words that come to mind about this letter are inspirational. It just goes to show you that change is possible at in any stage of our lives that no matter what you might think, you're never too far gone, you know? You just have to believe and be tired enough of your current situation and willing to put in the effort that's necessary to change. I think it's more of a mindset thing than anything else. But again, I'll say I'm still kind of blown away about this. This is the first time for me that I've actually heard someone who was openly racist and who lived an openly racist lifestyle talk about changing and coming to the realization on their own, mind you, no one made him do this, that the human race is truly the only race that matters. And I'm very familiar with racism. I saw a whole lot of this growing up. I grew up in the Midwest in Ohio, and in the area that I grew up in, man, racism was very much accepted and out in the open. It wasn't hidden at all. Um, and at some point, I guess because I moved away and I wasn't constantly seeing it or dealing with it, I mistakenly believed that racism was dying out. But I will be slapped back to reality about 9, 10 years ago, and we saw a resurgence of that. I'm not going to speak on that, but at any rate, if you have any thoughts or comments about this letter, about the state of the world or country, just drop them down in the comments below and let's talk about them. But I still am kind of at a loss for words, which, as most of you know, I'm usually not. I can go on and on about anything, but I will say this. I'm proud of this particular individual, and it makes me happy. And I'm going to tell you why. Excuse me. It makes me hopeful for the future because for a long time, I lost faith in mankind. I thought we were doomed as a species. The way we treat each other, the way we treat the earth, I didn't think we were going to make it. You know, but when I read stories like this and I interact with some of the young people who write me letters and just interacting with the youth out here in this world, man, it gives me hope again, you know, and that's a lot, man, for an old guy. And I know, I'm sorry, I talk about you young guys a lot. There's a reason for that, man. I'm an old man. I'm not that damn old, but I'm an old man. I've lived most of my life, man. You guys, you're the future, man. You are the caretakers. You're the ones who are going to carry all this forward at some point. And my old mindset and my new mindset, I keep running into solid, intelligent, well-spoken examples of young people from all walks of life, you know? And it blows my mind, man. Because like I said, for a long time, my only interaction with young people was what I saw on TV. And you know how you guys are portrayed on TV. And that's the news media propaganda. And the younger family members that I had, they were too young at the time. So they were younger, but they weren't really part of the young generation at that time. But now, man, everywhere I go, I keep running into young people just shining examples of what's to come, man. And it makes me hopeful. And I thank you guys for that. And I will say that until the day I die. So my hat goes off to you guys. Not really, because you'll see that bald spot. But anyway, I'm not going to sit here and get on a rant, man, because you know I can rant. I can sit here and get on one. I'm not going to do that. But hey, thank you for your time, because you could have been somewhere else. Thank you for joining me today. And as always, take care of yourself and each other. I'll see you guys in the next one.